Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having an awesome day. It's Bertrude and today we're using a pure strength build. This one's really fun. Let's take a look at the stats. So on this one we're a level 150 build. You can see that we've got 60 vigour, 47 endurance and then 60 strength. In our flask this time we're using the green burst crystal tier for our stamina recovery speed and the opaline hard tier for the damage negation. And then finally, here's a quick look at the armour and talismans we're using on this build. We've got a selection of weapons on the build that are all heavy infused, including the giant crusher, the golem's halberd, we've got the great sword, and then we've also got the axe of Godfrey. We've then also got the jar cannon for some long range harassment options, and the one-eyed shield for some more like close to medium range harassment options. We've then also got the heavy infused starfists, and they're equipped with endure. In our offhand we've also got the Cinqueda dagger. It's a really good heavy scaling dagger and it's good to mix into some of our slower attacks with the fast attacks of that particular dagger. But that's the build guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it'll really help the channel. But it's time for you lot to sit back, relax, get your feet up and enjoy. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an absolutely epic day. So we're back at it with my big boy build. It's a pure strength build, level 150, and I absolutely love this build. There's just something about the big, slow, hard-hitting colossal weapons that I absolutely love. I've said before that I really like great axes and great hammers. My favourite weapon class, more than likely I think, probably my favourite weapon class in the game, the great axes, great hammers. But the colossal weapons aren't far behind it, so this build is mainly based around colossal weapons. We've got 4 in total. We've got the giant's crusher, we've got the golem's halberd, we've got the great sword, the good old guts sword. I know I've said a load of times that I'm sick of seeing guts. I am sick to death of seeing guts cosplays, but the actual sword itself is a lot of fun. It's a good sword and I enjoy it on this build. It's got the giant's hunt attached to it, and that is a really good Ash of War. It hits for some huge damage, as you will see in this invasion when I take out these 2 little white mash schmeagles with it. And then we've also got the Axe of Godfrey, which in itself is an awesome colossal weapon. It's a lot of fun. The Ash of War on that one, easily dodged if they just use the brain cells and just jump over the impact of that big ground slam that it does. But it's a lot of fun, it's a good weapon, and then after you've used the Ash of War you get those really cool heavy attack follow-ups afterwards. So yeah, it's just a good build, really fun. I love the weapons that we're using, and if you love the weapons on the build you're obviously going to enjoy using it, aren't you? And you know, just on top of that, it's very strong, it does a lot of damage. It's one of the builds that I've got which I go to, and then when I rotate back round to it I always just know that I'm going to do well. So it's nice to have in my rotation. A lot of my builds are quite quirky where I have to work very hard sometimes to get the wins. You know, some of my builds, the win to loss ratio outweigh a lot of my other builds. Do you know what I mean by that? So some of them, they're quite quirky, it's hard to get wins. I take a lot more losses on some builds, I have to work harder for the wins, but a build like this one, it's very strong, and I get a lot more wins than I do losses just because of the nature of the weapons we're using with the scaling and all that. We've got a lot of good poise, we've got good armour, good defences. It's just a strong build guys, it's really fun. And like I said, the golem's halberd on this invasion, slow weapon, they're all quite slow weapons, but you know, having that dagger in the offhand really does help with that, because we can get close up and try and get some quick attacks with the daggers, with the dagger when I'm feeling that the weapons are maybe a little bit too slow to make any impact. Looking at this invasion, I'm not sure if this guy was light rolling. I think possibly he was. I'm not sure, sometimes it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. He's got a big old heavy weapon but he's wearing very light armour, so I'm not sure. I think maybe he is, but either way it's not too much of an issue. This is a good invasion. I do manage to connect with him with some nice shots. Switch to the one-eyed shield there. I love using that on this build. That is a really nice feature of this build, using a one-eyed shield. I tried to pair it with the dagger in our offhand. The fact that the I tried to pair it with the starfist. The fact that the starfists on the build have got endure. So I switched to the starfist. I popped that endure on the build, and then I use that to poise through incoming attacks to get the big shot off with the one-eyed shield. And it's just a really nice way to land some damage when you're getting pressured. People often think that they can stun you out with the build-up for the animation on the one-eyed shield. So if you use endure, then you can poise through the attacks, and it often gets you some good damage with the explosion. And look at that invasion, what a beautiful way to finish. We've got the stamp sweep on the giant crusher there, and if it connects, it does a lot of damage. And again, you know, it's good for poising through attacks. You get that stamp which poises you up for that big spinning attack. And it's the same on the Golem's halberd that we're using. We're using the stamp uppercut on that one. So we've got the stamp sweep on the giant's crusher and the stamp upward cut on the Golem's halberd, and they're both really smart Ashes of War. People often don't expect them, and they are, obviously, as you'll see in these invasions, we do manage to connect. They always forget about the poise. You get that big poise when you stamp, and then it's very hard to get knocked out of the animation for the following attack. So yeah, two really good Ashes of War. This guy's just a big strong boy. He was the strongest guy in the gym. Honestly, he goes in the gym and he absolutely smashes it. He's deadlifting 500k, he's bench pressing 300k, you know what I mean? He's just an absolute beast. No one can match him in the gym. He's squatting 2000k, you know what I mean? He's just, they've not got enough weights in the gym to accommodate his needs. He has to he has to go out into the wilds and start like lifting big massive boulders because he's just so strong. That's why he can use all these massively strong weapons and wear some big armour. He's just a big boy. He's just a big strong healthy boy, isn't he? And he puts out some good damage and uses some big massive big old weapons. And he just loves it. But let's take a look at this invasion now. This was quite a tough one. We've got the host spamming lightning at us, and obviously we're in water, so he's going to be doing some big old damage if he hits us with that lightning bolt, so I've got to watch out for that. This summon, again with a light rolling, I think maybe this summon was light rolling. He's wearing some very light armour. He's looking a little bit sus on some of his dodges when I'm trying to hit him. I know I'm using slow weapons, yeah, so I know that it's easier maybe to be rolled away from. Do you know what I mean? It's easy for them to escape my attacks, but sometimes you just feel, I should have hit you with that one, I should have hit you with the follow-up one, and you just get that feeling sometimes that they are definitely light rolling. I can usually tell, but as I said, sometimes it's a bit hard to notice whether they are or not. But I think in this invasion, I think this summon was light rolling, but you can see his rolls just seem a little bit long. I think he is light rolling, but it was a good invasion. We managed to hit him with some good Ashes of War on the Golem's halberd and the Giant's Crusher. We sent them up flying into the air, but in the end they just got the better of us on that one. But that was a really good invasion. It's just one of those close calls. Happy to lose that one. It was a good fight. No quarrels about that whatsoever. So you can see now I've invaded this solo host, and he's on his own for now, but you could just see there he's got his summon coming in. Now this weren't my first time fighting this guy. I invaded these two a few times over this invasion session, and there was just, you know, there was quite a difficult gank. They were just at the first step ganking. This guy, he was running, he's got that heavy running thrusting sword, the Dragon's Crag Blade or whatever it's called, and he was spamming his Ash of War when his summon was in, and his summon was spamming magic at us and all kinds of other stuff, and it was making it very difficult. It was quite a difficult two-man gank. So I've spawned in and I've got this guy on his own, and I was just trying to put some pressure on him there before his summon turned up. But now you can see his summon's turned up, and straight away he's at it with a Dragon's Breath. So it's time for me to back up, try and get myself a little bit of room and see if I can do any damage with the jar cannon. The horse now is pressuring us, so I decided to put the jar cannon away because I don't want to get stuck in that animation and possibly give him a free hit on me. Switch to our weapons and try and do some damage in the meantime. I'm just hoping that I can get a fellow invader in on this one because these two were proving quite difficult. You can see the host has got a little bit about him there. He's clever enough to jump over the Ash of War on the Axe of Godfrey, So fair play, you know, he's obviously experienced, he knows what he's doing, at least well enough to avoid the damage from the Ash of War. Maybe not so much as he just went for the parry on the Colossal sword, which obviously isn't going to happen. Again, he went for the jump on the Ash of War there, but we managed to connect with the damage. Now, we've got a fellow invader. This is going to change the whole landscape of this invasion. This is what I was waiting for. I was just biding some time, waiting for fellow invader. Hopefully it came in, and it did. This guy has answered our prayers, and like I say, it's changed the whole landscape of this invasion. The summon here makes a huge mistake. He breaks away from his host. Some big damage there, and we managed to finish him off easy enough, and you're damn right he gets a teabag for it. Big mistake there from the summon separating from his host, and now this host is about to get some of his own medicine. Get ready for a nice little supercut of me and my fellow invader just bullying the hell out of him. Oh, it's just a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when you turn the tables on a ganker. Here we go, watch this. It was a difficult one, you know, because I'm using those big colossal weapons, so I was really cautious not to hit my fellow invader. But he did an absolutely awesome job. My invader friend on this one, you can see his positioning. Both of us obviously know not to hit the other guy. We're being very cautious. We're being very cautious not to do any friendly fire. And he was just a perfect fellow invader there. His positioning was awesome. We was just kind of pinning the host in between us and making his life a living hell until we actually killed him, which was a lot of fun. And I sent him a little GG's message afterwards, and yeah, that was a really, really good invasion, that one. Now, disclaimer for this invasion, guys. It was Bank Holiday Sunday yesterday, so that means me and the wife have got the day off today recording this audio. And last night, we went out for a good old few drinks because we was both off work today. And I jumped online for a few invasions when I got in. And I was rather drunk at this point during this invasion. I was rather drunk. So I got in, done this invasion. This blue turns up, absolutely squashed this blue, easy peasy. And then I go a bit overboard with the teabags because, like I say, I was a bit intoxicated. I get a little bit carried away with the teabags there. Because I don't like blues anyway, no one does. But when you're drunk after a good old night out on a Bank Holiday Sunday, you go a bit extra with the teabags, don't you? And now, look, I come over to the host to see what's going on. And there's just absolutely no chance you're making me fight my fellow red. I absolutely hate this when you invade a host. Look at him. He wants us to fight. No, mate. No, it's not happening. Especially on a Bank Holiday Sunday when I'm intoxicated. You are not forcing me into a fight club with my fellow red man. You have popped that taunter's tongue. You are going to get killed. I'm not fighting my mate. I'm not fighting my fellow invader. And look, he knows the score. He knows the crack. Especially on a Bank Holiday Sunday when I'm intoxicated after a good old drink with my wife. You know what I mean? No, I'm not taking part in your enforced fight club, good sir. So we're down in the depths here. And this is why we've got the jar cannon, guys. I actually don't land, but it's nice having the jar cannon on a build when you can afford to use it. Really, really good. It's a good option for some long range harassment. Just like this, you know, it's really handy to have. Every build that I make, if I don't have the jar cannon, I always wish at some point or another that I had it on the build. It always turns up where you're in a position where you could just do some harassment with a jar cannon and you don't have it on the build, and I always wish I did. So on the builds that include it, I'm always happy. I'm just always happy when I can do a bit of long range sniping with it, you know what I mean? So yeah, we've got the jar cannon on this one, and we've got the one-eyed shield. Some really nice bombs going off, as well as the big impact from all of our weapons. And you can see we've got a rivers of blood schmeagle here, just spamming the hell out of us with that Ash of War. But my trick now is to try and get that stomp upward cut on him and send him up into the heavens. Here we go, poise through, big poise, big damage. But look at this, the summon sends me up as well. We're just all taking flying lessons. We're all taking flying lessons on this one, and it goes up again and we get the kill. Huge damage. Huge damage on the Ash of War. Really, really good. The Golem's Halberd does some huge damage, but the Ash of War in particular, yeah, really, really good. And then, guys, this is the last invasion of the video. Just a nice little funny one. I just turn up and absolutely explode the summon, and I give my fellow invader a nice clean victory on the host. Nice little quick invasion. Bish bash bosh. Bob is your uncle, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, guys. Look after yourselves, look after each other. Take it easy, and I'll see you all next time.